Well, they come as if from outer space in a variety of weird guises. Defender, Pac-Man, asteroids. To fans, they represent a challenge. But to critics, as Terry Drinkwater reports, they are a menace.
If you're not watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, you're gonna turn into a Goomba!
Given the intro and subject matter of this video, you might think I was one of these arcade goblins growing up as a kid. It is with great sadness I must inform you that I both live in Australia and am a post 9/11 child. Arcades were already on their way out when I was just forming my prefrontal my brain. So I really didn't get an opportunity as a kid to fully appreciate arcades for the fucking sick places they were. I mean, what's not to love? There's video games, pizza, germs, people that don't know how to socialize.
Mortal Kombat 2! Whoa! Time Zone! It's out there.
And so I wanted to take it upon myself to see if there were any cool video game arcades that I could feasibly go to and have a good time at. And just to appeal your little Instagram reel TikTok brain, we're gonna rank them in a tier list. That's right, dickhead! It's one of these! One of these! Now, the way we're gonna do this is we have to establish what our B tier is. Our 50-50. Our middle of the road. Our mid. And I couldn't think of a better mid option than the beloved Aussie classic, Time Zone.
Hi, me from the future here, with a bit of context. At some point, Time Zone in my local city was bought out by a different company called Laser Quest. So a lot of what I'm gonna say isn't gonna match up with the visuals, but this is still how I think every other time zone in Australia works, just not the one in my local city, because it's no longer a time zone, it's now Laser Quest. Okay, bye, Laser Quest is mid.
You may be asking me, James, what makes Time Zone so mid? Well, it comes down to a couple factors. First of all, ticket arcades just suck. You should be going to the arcade for two reasons: to get high scores and bragging rights. You want to get the highest score or the fastest time, and you want to beat your friends while doing it. The satisfaction of being just the better gamer The satisfaction of just being the better gamer should be more than enough of a reason to go to the arcade. Slapping tickets and prices on top of it is just piss poor. For the money you spend getting those tickets, you could have just bought the prize you were after. The second thing that makes Time Zone so mid is its card system. Now, I'm of the firm belief that if you go to an arcade, the only thing you should be putting into machines are either tokens or gold coins. Time Zone, on the other hand, has a little card pass system where you load a card up with some money and you swipe it across the machines and it counts as a token. In principle, this doesn't seem so bad. I mean, it's basically the same action, just with a card. But Time Zone fucks this up by having multiple card tiers. When you buy a card at Time Zone, you preload it with a certain amount of money, which lasts a certain amount of time. With that time, you get unlimited play on machines that don't give you tickets and don't give you prizes. With the money you loaded onto the card, you have a certain amount of money that you can spend on machines that give you tickets. Machines that give you prizes, I have no fucking idea how they work. I never used them because I thought that was a fucking scam. I just want to go to the arcade, load my card up with some money, and just fucking have some fun. I don't want to have to be cucked out of choosing specific machines just because I didn't have the money, but I can still play other machines. That's stupid to me. That doesn't make any sense. It's such an artificial problem to have, which immediately gets resolved when you just remove the cards and go back to using tokens. The way God intended, really. While I complain about the tickets and the cards at Time Zone and all that, there are some positives as well. While not having classic arcade machines, they have a lot of the newer ones that release, and they've got a pretty big selection depending on the time zone you go to. Obviously, having games at an arcade is essential to the arcade experience. They've also got a great range of multiplayer and co-op games, which I really appreciate. Sometimes, instead of wanting to beat your friends, you just want to play with your friends. For these these reasons, I'm putting Time Zone in the middle of the tier list, right in B tier. This is going to be our benchmark that we're going to rate all the other arcades against. Melbourne, a pretty cool city. Today, however, we were interested in its arcades. We start with day one. Who is we? Some mates. Who we are is not important. What is important is where we were headed. Our first stop was the Thunderdome, located in High Point. However, before we reached the Thunderdome, we got distracted by some Pokemon cards and the mystical Lucky Box.
What could be in this, bro?
Ask a question before you open me.
Shit.
James, what do you ask?
Please be $1 million. Please.
That's my fucking question. Are you $1 million?
Could you be $1 million?
What is that? It's just slop. It's just the slop cup. Oh my God. Expensive. Squeeze bubble tea, James.
What the fuck? Share your experience on TikTok. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I can't wait for it to explode like everywhere.
It looks like, it feels like it's gonna.
You want to do an unboxing?
I do. If you get me to open it, you're not getting anything good though.
That's fine.
I think I could like, I could operate this, bro.
What do you mean you could?
That fits.
Oh, bro.
That fits.
Alright, what we got? We got Axu. Oh, we got Axu.
Ooh.
Cat.
Anyways, after searching for the arcade for like 10 minutes, we finally arrived at the Thunderdome. Thunderdome has many things, from mini-golf to karaoke to food. We were here for their arcades though. However, before we got to the actual arcades, we noticed something very peculiar. There are a couple people inside the establishment simply just sleeping on the couches around the bar. Keep in mind, this was during the middle of the day, sometime around 12 PM. But then we soon found out why. They had pints for $6. So before we got to the machines, we had to get some good vibes going.
Initial vibes. What are we thinking?
We haven't even played in the arcade yet.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with $6 pints.
Literally. Jacob?
I would have did that. This is nice.
Yes. Violet?
I enjoyed when we thought the place was closed because no one was here.
After we got some grog in us, we made our way to the arcades. Thunderdome uses a card pass system where you buy a card and load it up with money. It's kinda like Time Zone, but it doesn't have any of the multiple tiers fuckery. You just put money on the card and you can then play whatever. For the first arcade of the trip, Thunderdome was pretty average. The arcade was separated into two areas, old school and new school. I'll be honest, I didn't really see the point in separating the two. The oldest arcade game they had was Pong, but it was a modern recreation of it that uses magnets and motors to play. So can you really call it old? And everything else was what you'd expect from a modern day arcade. I think the delineation is less about what specific games you're playing and more the function that the games take. For example, old school had a lot of racing games and gun games, whereas new school had VR games and this one machine that dumped balls on your head. Which, by the way, I didn't realize this in the moment or until now, but out of all of us, I got the highest score on this machine, which makes me the balls champion. There was also this shooter that utilized water, but after some time it ran out of water. Nice. Overall, I'd give Thunderdome an A tier. It had way less arcades than your average Time Zone, but those $6 pints were hard to beat. Next on our list was Archie Brothers Cirque Electric, located at the Docklands. This arcade was a lot like Thunderdome, except for the fact that it was loud as fuck and fucking packed with children, making it almost impossible to record anything without getting strange looks from concerned parents. Now's probably a good time to talk about the camera audio. You see, you might think Archie Brothers was such a loud venue that it was peaking my mic at every chance. This is wrong. I simply had the mic set up wrong, so all the audio from the first day sounds like this.
Jacob, how loud is it in here right now?
It's pretty loud. It's loud enough where it's like, if you're in here for half an hour, you'll lose your voice.
Anyway, back to it. We started off by, again, getting another card with some money loaded onto it. Archie Brothers, in theory, is a step up from Thunderdome. For starters, it has way more arcade games than Thunderdome. This is before mentioning that Archie Brothers also has VR, bumper cars, laser tag, and bowling. And they also have this fucked Monster Hunter Pig game. However, that's where my praise for Archie Brother ends. When it comes to negatives, there's quite a bit. First of all, let's start with how fucking loud this place is. While yes, all my audio from day one is fucked, this is also what the venue sounded like at times. The music played was so loud that you could barely hear your friends right next to you. Layered on top of that were the sounds of children screaming and PA announcements from the guy hosting the bumper cars. Speaking of the bumper cars, emanating from that part of the arcade was this really strong, toxic, smoky smell.
The only problem is the smell's kinda and there's like a taste of like smoke from something.
They put the only male toilet that I could find right next to the children's function room, which again, I must stress is really awkward to be around while I have a camera around my neck. And they also had this Willy Wonka machine. I don't know what these machines are called, but they remind me of the show Tipping Point, so I'm calling them Tipping Point machines. The reason I'm talking about these machines is because my good friend Julian spent almost all of his time here playing this one machine. He's addicted to these things. This shit is gonna spiral from Wonka cards to pachinko balls.
Show us the... Yo!
In short, Archie Brothers is going in B tier. Better than Time Zone, but holy fuck, I never want to go here again.
Travis, it's kill or be killed.
The next arcade on our list was Fortress, located in the basement of the Melbourne Emporium. Fortress is a guilty pleasure of mine. Most of the arcades on this list are ones I'm seeing for the first time. However, my mates and I have been to Fortress many a time for some pub food and game videos. Before we could scran and game though, I had a problem. My camera was running out of storage. To remedy this, I would have to book it to the nearest JB Hi-Fi and buy a new SD card. So here's what I did. We got a table at Fortress and ordered some food. As soon as I ordered, I sprinted from the basement of the Melbourne Emporium to the far side of Melbourne Central, ran into JB Hi-Fi, bought a new SD card which took forever to find, and ran all the way back. This is a fun speed run for anyone wanting to play along. My PB was about 9.5 minutes and my food wasn't even ready by the time I got back, so yeah, beat that gamers. Anyways, Fortress is pretty good. We first got started by ordering a card, which I forgot to record because at this point I'd gotten a fair amount of drinks in me and had
forgotten that I was making a video.
Thank you, past me. Very cool. Honestly, as an arcade, Fortress isn't anything special. It's more or less on par with everything that's come before it, sharing many of the same games. Where Fortress shines is in its vibes and atmosphere, brother. They have board games, PCs you can play, overpriced streamer rooms if you want to stream outside of your house for some reason. I swear as we were leaving, they were hosting some TF2 tournament. So yeah, as an arcade, maybe Fortress is just more of the same, but as an establishment, it's kinda keener. We gotta throw it up in A tier. Our last arcade of day one was Be Lucky and Sons, located at the top of Melbourne Central. Be Lucky and Sons had a little something for everyone. It had the racing game for the racists, the gambling games for the gamblers, but most importantly, it was the first venue we went to that actually had a fighting game. To Fortress's credit, they did have the arcade version of Tekken 7, but the second player cabinet wasn't working. And a fighting game without a player 2 is like driving without a beer in hand. It just doesn't make sense. Not only did Be Lucky have an arcade fighter, they had one of the best arcade fighters of all time, Marvel 2.
Yo, you wanna learn how to do
Light
fuck
punch,
this?
medium punch, light kick, heavy punch.
This is actually what it's all about, dude. Fuck yes. I'm a massive Marvel 2 fan, and to see this thing of beauty in the flesh is amazing. Every arcade needs a fighting game cabinet, dude. It's so pivotal to the vibe. Apart from that, though, Be Lucky and Sons was alright. Very samey to the rest of the venues, down to getting another goddamn fucking plastic card. It's also a very cramped space, which is also kind of vibes for an arcade, but other venues have shown how you can utilize that space better. Still though, Be Lucky and Sons was a pretty good venue, so I'm popping it in A tier.
Here for Dragon Ball Z.
Become a channel member and you get some of these cool perks. Whoa.
This is what it feels like.
The doctor just said it's terminal. Fuck.
Day 2 started with a realization as I stared at the tier list. We had a lot of venues all in the same tier. However, in my mind, the tier list is more spread out than this. There's more nuance. So, let me just, There we go. That's better. Welcome to Thornbury, located in Thornbury. On the surface, did not look all that promising. A little bit of context. I had not researched any of the venues we went to. I just googled arcades near me, found these spots, plotted some maps, and said fuck it, good enough. What I didn't realize is that I'd accidentally sent us to the largest retro video game arcade in Australia.
Australia's largest fully licensed retro arcade. You had a bit of drool come down there.
Yeah?
This place was literally everything I was hoping for. When I think arcade, this is the place that pops into mind. Not those poppy, loud, sensory, overloading fucking time zone shitholes. This, you want fighting games? We got every single one. You want to try poorly controlling boxing games? Bam, get fucked. You want to snipe Turning Point co-founder Charlie? This joke has been cut from the video due to recent events. I cannot stress how fucking cool this arcade was, even if we had to get another fuck-ass plastic card. So fucking cool. Plus, it had a bar, so, you know. S tier. Literally everything I was looking for.
Hey, quick amendment. So the arcade is actually called Arcade Garage. From what I can tell, it's just one guy who owned all the arcades, and it was like a joint revenue thing. I don't fucking know. Anyway, he sold all of his fucking arcades. All of the arcades got auctioned off. This isn't a joke. They're just gone. And you'll never guess what the arcade was replaced with. A shitty time zone ripoff that you've seen a million times before! I'm not kidding! This isn't scripted! I am recording this at the last minute we're cold! Why can't you do this? Why? So, because of this, Welcome to Thornbury is being knocked down to fucking B tier, and begrudgingly I have to give Arcade Garage S tier, because it was S tier. But now it doesn't exist! You can't go there! Fuck!
It was inevitable that after going to the perfect arcade, the next one would fail to reach the same heights as before. That's fine, not everywhere can be the largest retro video game arcade in Australia. Akira's arcade, though, is less an arcade and more a gambling parlor for kids. You walk into the place and instead of hearing beeps and boops, you're instead met with claw machines. Only claw machines. So the way this arcade works is you get a card and then try to win prizes in claw machines. If you win a prize, you can either keep it or you can trade it in for tickets. Along the walls of the arcade were prizes corresponding to a certain number of tickets. This is the natural endpoint of ticket counters. Gotcha. I was really expecting more from a place called Akira's Arcade, but unfortunately it found itself ending up in D tier. Kingpin was easily the biggest arcade we went to. I tried getting a shot showing off how big it is before realizing how fucking crazy stupid that would be. Aside from that, there's not much to really say about it. We got another plastic card to add to our collection. It was very similar to the majority of arcades we went to, although occasionally the machine that you deposit your Wonka cards into did this. Pretty cool. Speaking of gambling, I wonder how the guys are— God damn it. B tier. And that was the end of day 2, a complete rollercoaster from start to finish. All that remained was one more arcade. That was the plan, at least. This video was taking so long to shoot that a new arcade actually opened up while we were planning all this out. Chaos Bar, located in Geelong, is a relatively new bar that also has some arcade cabinets. The vibes in this place are unreal. It doesn't have a ton of arcade games, but the one it does have are amazing. We're talking Mortal Kombat, Metal Slug, TMNT, and a first for this video, the machines take coins instead of a bullshit card. Hell fucking yeah, bitch! This is how it's meant to be. If arcades aren't your thing, don't worry, they also have retro console setups at some tables.
Honey, they have Mario Kart.
This place has such good, unmatched vibes, and this is without mentioning that during happy hour, they have $5 schooners. Like, be so for real, we're so fucking back. They have trivia nights, VHS movie nights. We went here one time, and I got the worst gastro of my life. And then my dog died. I wrote that into the script, oh my god. I am going to go back because it is so fun. S tier, literal perfection. And finally, we arrive at Bartronica,
located on Flinders Lane.
Bartronica is a little basement bar that also doubles as an arcade, like every other place we've been to. However, Bartronica sets itself apart from the rest by being PEEM. First of all, the games. All classics, all bangers, all fun. Second, they take coins. A while back, they used to only take these special tokens that you had to pay for, but I guess it was getting too expensive to make them because now any old regular coin will work. This is a W though. As I said with Chaos Bar, I appreciate the simplicity of slamming coins into a machine. Third, the atmosphere. This is a proper gamer's den. We're talking black walls, video game inspired decor, people who don't know how to socialize. However, with every Rome, there must come fall. Bartronica has a couple shortcomings that stop it from being truly PEEM. They have a retro game service where you can book a table and play some Nintendo 64 games on a big TV. I'm not opposed to this at all, but playing Mario Kart 64 stretched on a 16:9 LCD with controllers that barely register inputs is not my idea of a fun time. Speaking of controller issues, Bartronica seemingly has a lot of them. Buttons being really sticky and getting stuck, sticks barely registering inputs, and some machines just straight up not working are all too common here.
And from memory, yep, these buttons are gummy as hell and some of them just straight up don't work.
They also do video game inspired cocktails, which is cool, but they're always changing what ones they do. Some people say a rotating drinks lineup is good because it keeps people coming back, but that just sounds like alcoholism to me. Also, the last time I went there, they didn't even have any inspired cocktails, and instead they just had all the popular ones, including a Long Island for $25. What the fuck? I still bought it, but fuck you. In conclusion, yeah, Bartronica is kinda cool, but it's also really inconsistent. It was my favorite for a while, but having seen how Chaos Bar handles themselves, I'm gonna have to knock Bartronica down to an A tier. And that's the tier list. Overall, there are some real gems hidden among the mid. However, one thing I want to touch on real quick before we end this is the condition of the machines themselves. An unfortunate trend among every arcade we went to was that some machines were just straight up broken, busted, and not operational. Now, with the more retro machines, I understand that those require more specialized help to fix. But for modern machines, it really boggles my mind how some of these games either don't run, or how you're allowed to play them but the machine is so busted that controlling is almost impossible. I know kids are just gonna break stuff, but the games are the main part of your attraction. Don't you think you should be pushing for everything to be serviced and fixed so that any and everyone gets the best experience?
I mean, fuck. How hard can it be?
Hey, it's me coming to you at fucking 10:08 in the morning. God damn, what am I doing with my life? Sorry the video took so long. I fucking full-time employment threw my whole rhythm off so goddamn bad. This video took like a year to make. It should not have taken this long. I should have got it done in like 2 months. Trying a new thing where I ask members and friends and family questions and then I put them at the end of the video, and yeah, cool. Alright, let's get into it. Which bar was your favorite to film at? I think the bars I liked filming at the most were the bars that I liked the most. Like Arcade Garage and Chaos Bar were pretty chill places to film at. It honestly kind of depended on like which place had the least amount of children and which place gave me the least amount of bad looks from the staff for whipping out a camera and just filming random stupid shit.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. Fee's here, by the way.
Oh.
Favorite game at the arcades? Easily 100% fucking Speed Race. This game is unbelievably fun. It's so simplistic, but it's just, oh, it scratches an itch in my fucking brain to drive and to drink and to go fast. What is your go-to arcade bar drink? It's usually just like a Jack and Coke. Sometimes I'll get like a beer, like a Carlton Draft or something. I'm never trying to like go hard at these places and get fucking shit-faced every day. It's always just, I want like a drink or two and I want to play my arcades, and that's it. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'm gonna try and release like another 7 million videos before the end of the year. I'll see you then.